How do you create a scenario where you're able to create 3 weeks worth of content in less than 4 hours? Honestly, it's probably too much to think about, but I'm going to show you how I've been able to do it. And honestly, this is a direct response of a community that I'm in. And I actually posted this as a win where I seriously just said I create 3 weeks of content in less than 4 hours. And I did this all with AI and no code. And the truth of this is that the content sounds authentic, it's unique, but more than anything, I have automations that I've been able to leverage to give me my time back and really speed up the creation. So we're going to be talking a little bit about what that looks like right here. I'm actually going to draw it with you just so that you can see a little bit of like how my mind thinks, but what is the flow with this. So this is like a draw it with me session. But really, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my marketing schedule, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the core automations that I'm using to really make it super easy for myself. And if you haven't already gotten the newsletter database, like it's literally $9. I don't know what you're doing. Like, go ahead and grab the database. If you don't know where to get it, comment newsletter and I'll send it to you right then and there. Right. So I'm super excited to talk about this. And yeah, let's get into the first piece here where we're going to be talking about the marketing schedule. Right. So I like to think of marketing just kind of like on a weekly basis. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I just kind of want to make this a little bit more even. And so the truth of it is that being a creator is super hard because it feels like you have to create so much content in order to get seen. And the reality of it is that that's the case, right? And so if you're someone who kind of is like exhausted by content, like I'm right there with you. If you would have asked me like 4 years ago, like, oh my God, like, would you ever get to a point where you love creating content? I would tell you no, because it's just way too much work. But 4 years later, I actually enjoy creating content because I've created a lot of automations that take the admin work and all the crap that comes after it off my plate, right? So there's really two things that I really like to think about this. So I have my writing, or actually, let's just say it. I have the, let me try again. So I have two pieces. I have the regular content, and then I'm doing something called our built-in public situation, right? So maybe if you've seen these videos, if you're on any short form platform like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all those things, you're probably seeing these videos. I know I posted on LinkedIn as well. But this is something that I'm doing on a daily basis, and it's actually been a lot of fun because it's keeping myself accountable. And I created automation to make it super easy so that it is fun. So the content, what does this look like? Well, I really create content almost every day, honestly. Now that doesn't mean that like I actually write content every single day. That's a little too much. I personally really like batching, and so I think batching is the way to go, right? But this is what it looks like, right? So I Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's usually a story-based content piece, right? And so this is something that's actually honestly very much so writing based, right? And so I'm just going to classify it as a W to make it easier, right? But I actually really like to write. I thought to myself, okay, what if I just did videos every day? I tried it, and honestly, I kind of got tired of it. I actually really like writing, right? And so, what is like the theme of like what I'm writing about? How do I actually pick my content? Well, I've really decided that it comes down to kind of three areas, and it comes down to the type of stages that I feel like leads are in the business, right? And so we have top of funnel, and then we have mid funnel, and then we have bottom funnel, right? And so these content pieces are really story based, but depending on it, like I have top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel, right? And so that's the written piece. This is where I like to write and really where I feel like a lot of my authentic voice comes through. So videos is actually where I do a lot more of education. So I feel like education can be kind of seen as like middle of funnel type of content. But this is where like I'm walking you through some like automations that I'm building, like a high level overview. Like if you've been on my corner of the internet, you've seen it for some time, right? And so this is kind of like the video piece right here. And then you have this built in public where it's like, okay, like what the hell does that mean? Well, honestly, I have been really enjoying this, but this built in public is literally just a video that I film every single day. And it's not a high production video as well. But literally, I just take my phone and I record a 1 minute video of like what's the one thing I did to track my goals for the day. And I just report on it, right? And so that's pretty much all I do. Now, when it comes to like the schedule of like how does this actually like work in terms of schedule? I actually, for this type of content that you see here, this is all batch based content. So I generally create this content, I would say within like one, maybe like 3 days it takes me to create this type of content. But this content is like it takes me 1 to 3 days to create a content for an entire month, right? That is game changer. I don't feel like a lot of people can say that they can create a whole month's worth of content within 1 to 3 days. Like that's pretty cool, right? And so I'm going to walk you through the automations that really help me with doing this, right? But the build in public, honestly, this just takes me like 1 minute across the board, right? So I just wanted to like lay out like the schedule of what this looks like. And so another cool thing that you should know as context here is that like I'm only creating content once, but in terms of the distribution, it is going across maybe at this point like 10 plus platforms. I can't remember all the platforms if I'm being honest with you, but like a couple platforms that are coming into mind is IG Reels, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then etc. Right? So I have a lot of content that's going a lot of different places. But you know what's great about this is that it's all automated. I do not spend any time on social media outside of like maybe just making sure that the content came out. But I don't spend a time on social media because I let the automations do everything for me, right? Now, what is the point of all of this, right? What is the point of like doing the stories, doing the videos, and like what is the point of having all this distribution? Well, this distribution of all this content piece is actually directing that traffic to my email list, right? Because at the end of the day, content that's supposed to be on socials, the only thing that you should be focusing on in your content is driving people to your email list. Why? Because social media followers are a rented audience. You do not own those followers. And honestly, I think it's kind of bullshit that like people spend so much time on building the trends of, strategy and growth on social media. They're all vanity metrics that do not pay the bills. The things that actually like convert is focusing the audience on the email list. Why? Because the email list is higher engagement. They are usually a better quality lead. And what's great about that is that like you own the list, right? Like if your social media account gets banned for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You have the email list in place. Now let's talk a little bit about this core piece of like the automations that actually make it happen, right? And so I really have to distribute it or like talk about it like in two ways, right? So the automations that I have, we're going to be talking about like from a creation perspective. So what are the automations that help me create the content? So I really think about this as like we have the writing and then we have the video, right? And the writing could be like correlated to the story piece here, and then the video is obviously correlated to this video piece. So for writing, I mean, writing is a personal like love of mine. Like I love to write, so like I can't really tell you that there's like a ton of automations that go into writing. But video is like super fucking fun. Because with video, what I really love about video is that I'm using an automation where I'm basically taking the transcript of the video, which I use a specific tool. Definitely feel free to comment tools, and I'll send you like all the tools I'm using to automate this. But I take the transcript of that video, upload it into what we call our newsletter database. I select, because I have a library of content templates and hooks, right? I select the template and the hook. So literally, I'm just clicking 2 buttons. And then from there, what happens next is that I use AI and automation to take that transcript and create essentially the social post and the hook. So all I have to do is just review and edit. That's all that is. But everything else that you see here, right? The this piece right here, this is all automated, right? So all I'm responsible for is actually just uploading the transcript and then choosing the hook and template, and then I get that. I automatically get the post for me, right? Because it took so much energy for me to create a video like this. Now you're gonna tell me I have to write the content for that video? No, that's way too much work. I'm just creating content once. Now, when it comes to writing is pretty much like if you create the content once, you're good. So this is automation number 1. Right? So the other aspect of this automation is like, yes, you want to create content once, but you want to be able to distribute that content as much as humanly possible. So this is where we get into automation number 2, right? We're talking about the distribution of this. And I really have 2 distribution channels. I have newsletter to Medium, because I write on Medium, and then I have newsletter to YouTube. Right? So these are 1 and 2 automations, right? But I'm just going to bucket them under distribution, right? And so what ends up happening is when this is all ready to go, check mark, right? What ends up happening is I trigger it so that I could take this content that I have here, automatically send it to Medium, and then just have it like pre-scheduled, or not even pre-scheduled. I just send it to Medium, and then I have an automation that schedules it for me, right? Newsletter to YouTube. Now, what does that look like? Well, I create the YouTube thumbnail automatically. That's automated. And I have a really great tool that I can recommend. Again, comment tools, and I'll send you it. And then I actually have the description done for me. And then I have, I can't remember what it is, but like the tags in the video done for me. And then I actually automatically have it scheduled done for me, right? And then like basically like the video is already uploaded. That's pretty much all taken care of, right? So that is like automated completely. So when we think about this from a perspective of like, okay, like what's actually running? Well, with this writing piece, right? This writing piece is actually also using this newsletter to Medium automation. So like once when everything's good to go from the writing perspective, and like I'm like, okay, cool, Chuck, like done, we're good to go. Then it triggers the Medium automation. Now, what ends up happening when you're like, okay, like you were able to upload it to Medium automatically, you're able to upload it to YouTube automatically, cool, but like how are you automating it to like different social platforms? Well, this is where I feel like the third automation is coming up, where it's like distribution, right? And so this is why I personally think it's so important to have all your content in a database, right? Because if you don't have a database for it, then like you're kind of just like you have content in Notion, you have content in Google Sheets, you have content in like Google Docs. Like it becomes a mess, right? And so I personally like to have all my content in the database. If you want a really great database, check out Newsletter Database. It's literally $9. And so I actually have a view, right? And so what makes up this view is a filter. And so the filter is like only show me content that was that has a scheduled date of yesterday, right? And so think of all my content pieces as records within this database, right? And so when a record or content goes into this view, what ends up happening is it triggers my distribution automation, right? So I'm kind of building like a self scheduler within the database. That's pretty cool, right? And then it takes this view, whether it's writing content or video content, and it automatically takes it. And because it goes into the view, it entering that view is the trigger point. So this distribution automation actually ends up sending it to TikTok, to LinkedIn, to YouTube, to Facebook, et cetera, right? Like this is probably like 10 plus platforms itself, right? And so like I really do feel like where are you spending the majority of your time and energy? Probably you're spending your time a lot more in this distribution piece, but I'm here to tell you that that can be completely automated. Where your zone of genius honestly should be focusing on is creating content once, right? Like I just like to create content once, click a bunch of buttons, and then like that's it, right? Like I don't want to have to remember to, repurpose my content to Instagram. I don't want to have to remember to format it in a specific way when you can have the automations do that for you. Now there's this other automation that is really cool. And this is something that like I've been thinking about selling. So if you want it, let me know. Just type in build in public. But this is something that's kind of like a new thing for me, right? So when it comes to building in public, I really wanted to create a situation where I just seriously like all I want to do is to create the video and just upload. And then like I don't want to do anything after that. Like it's good to go, right? And so I basically created an automation to do that. And so there's really like two automations at play that are here. One is creating the content. Another is distributing it. Okay? Yeah, right. So basically, what is it that I need to do in order to make this happen? So let's kind of talk a little bit about this piece right here. So we have me. I'm creating the video here, right? And then all I have to do is upload into a database. I'm just going to make that look pretty, right? We're going to have that into the database. That's all I do, right? Then I trigger this automation where like when the content is uploaded into the database, it triggers this automation, right? And this automation, what it does is it takes this video and then it like, I don't know, makes it look pretty. um, and when I say it makes it look pretty, it really does a couple things. It like has like a little like title here, and then it has like your subtitles. It's pretty much like automated for me. Like again, my only responsibility is just like this piece right here. And let me go ahead and show you an example in a real quick second. All right, so when I tell you it makes it look pretty, basically this automation does this one part piece of like it creates this automatically for me, it automatically subtitles for me. All I had to do was just upload, and this automation did it for me, everything afterwards. So this is pretty much an example. I just showed you an example. It takes this and then it also creates the post based on my transcription. Similar situation where I'm just choosing like a hook and a content template or whatever. And then it creates the post for me. It creates the YouTube tags. It creates the social tags. Hashtags, I think. Yeah, right. Social hashtags, right? And this whole piece is automated, right? Now there's this other layer of like, okay, like you have to do a bunch of prep in order for your content to work in different platforms, right? So like you need social posts that can be used across many different platforms, but maybe you need YouTube tags, right? Like you need to create that. And that takes a lot of time, but I pretty much use AI and automations to do all that for me, where again, all I'm responsible for is just creating the video and upload, and then I would just say review. I would honestly say at this point, like, I don't review it a ton because I've used it for some time and it pretty much gets like it 90% there. And so let's go back. This other area of like distribution, right? So like I have this built-in public video. I'm creating a video and I want to like distribute it across many different platforms, right? And so we're just gonna do similar thing that we have that we mentioned earlier. We're gonna have a view in our database, and then the view is gonna be like yesterday. And the reason why I'm doing that is because like I really want to honor the people who are on my email list. So anyone who's on my email list, they get the content first. Hence why you should join Content Creators Club. Just putting that out there. Right? And so basically the trigger is when that content is entered into this view, it distributes it to all platforms. Right? So we have like, I think this really goes a long list. It goes to Facebook, it goes to IG, it goes to TikTok, it goes to LinkedIn, it goes to YouTube, it goes to Pinterest, it goes to, where else does it go to? It goes to my email list, right? Because I have like an RSS feed. That's pretty cool. And it goes to like a whole bunch of other platforms that I can honestly tell you I've hooked it up to. But the goal is like really think about this from the perspective of like all you have to do is just create video and then like maybe review. That's a pretty great because everything down here is taken care of for me, right? So if you are burnt out by creating content in your business, it's not that the content is the problem. The problem is that you are doing too much after you create content. That is really becoming the issue for you, right? And so this is why you need these automations in place. Like literally, it will take time for you to set it up. You set it up once and then you forget it. That's all I do. Like I set up these automations, I put in the upfront time and investment into doing that. And then it makes everything else easier. And that's the point of leverage, right? This is why we have Leverage Creator, is because like I want you to insert leverage into your business where you're getting more than what you put in. Because I'm not putting a ton of energy in content creation other than maybe like 1 to 3 days a month, right? But I'm able to create all this content at scale. And so it really comes down to thinking about what are the automations that are going to help serve you even on the days that you don't want to show up. Like there are days where I just like for example yesterday I didn't want to do shit yesterday, and I didn't, but I had these automations run for me. And so I think that's truly like a testament to having leverage in the business. And if you want to know all the tools that I use to do this, then definitely comment tools and I'll send you my tools recommendation. If you want to add yourself to the Leverage Creator waitlist where I will show you how to automate the business, definitely do so. But this can be done, and I'm just here to say that it can be done. So that's pretty much it. And this is how I was able to create 3 weeks worth of content in less than 4 hours. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.